Alrighty, we are officially 50 days away from Q4. If you're new to the commercial world, this is the best time of the year. So, I am gonna make this a series of some sort. Some days I'll go live, some days I'll post videos. But what I'm thinking is I wanna do Project 50, but like business style.
You know what? Step number 1 is gonna be remembering to put on my mic. All right, set up now. So, if I look a little tired, it's because I am. It's only noon and I have accomplished so much, you guys. Ready to hit the ground running. Today, of course, I did all of my usual work. That stuff can't just take a back seat. So I did all of today's castings. I had to write up an invoice, which was pretty simple, but still I had to do that. And then we had a different invoice that got paid today. So I basically just had to forward payment over to my client. Also, this show did pay my 20% agency fee, so nothing came out of my client's check, and I got 20% instead of 10%. So yay for that, starting the week off strong. With that being said though, I am like ready to go balls to the wall and start booking more and more and more and more and growing the agency more and more and more. So in these videos, you're probably gonna see like a variety of things. I usually don't work weekends, but there's a couple of weekends during the next 50 days where I will be scouting. Actually, I think that's it. I just have 2 scouting events. No, there's a third thing that's happening on a Sunday, but I don't remember what it is. But anyways, I guess we'll find out when we get there. But right now is all about outreach because during Q4, we have all of the big holidays. We have the Halloween commercials, we have the Black Friday commercials, a couple of Thanksgiving commercials, and then we always have Christmas, or just like the holidays in general. We have to do all of the outreach so that we're like top of mind when they start thinking of doing these commercials and casting and who's gonna be part of the creative team and all of that good stuff. So today I became a Notion girly. Yes, it happened in a matter of hours. It's pretty great actually. I don't know, I'm gonna try and do like screen grabs here and there, but I already kind of have confidential information put into all the different charts and stuff that I have. But anyways, I have like my main projects page. I actually stole this from another creator. He had this template. He also did a video along with his template and it was super helpful. He's actually a photographer or a videographer or both. So I feel like everything that he had marked down was like exactly what I was looking for. All of his processes were like the same. It was, you know, pitching a brand, the booking, the production details, the invoicing process, final assets, like all of that good stuff, which is like exactly the same thing that I do, just on the talent side. So anyways, I thought that that would be a good template to copy, so that's what we did. I have castings first. We have people who are put on a veil, then we have bookings, once they go into production, once I have to invoice, once they've been paid, and then we do also post everything up on our Instagram, so also once they've been posted. That has actually been really helpful for me because I know this is gonna be crazy to say, but we do deal with a lot of bookings, so sometimes I just forget about stuff. So if I'm not like actively searching like Nike campaign, there's a chance that I'll never see it. I really like this new system that I'm putting into place because now when they book a job and they work a job and it's been paid, it'll still stay up on my tracker, so it'll still be top of mind for me to continue searching for that project until it goes live. So that's cool. I also have another one for outreach. Like I said, this quarter, or I guess the end of this quarter specifically, I really want to focus on outreach and getting my choreographers more work specifically, because when the choreographers are working, the dancers are working. So that's kind of my thought process there. For this one, I did my initial email, my follow-up email, if I get a response, if a booking comes from that, when we enter production, and then everything else goes the same. Production, invoice, paid, posted. So the rest of that process is the same as the castings. And then I also have this one for new talent. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it or not. I do like the current process that I have in place for bringing on new talent, but I do have a lot of interns this particular semester. So I just think for all of us to kind of be on the same page, it might be helpful for us to have this. So I don't know if I'm gonna use it long term, but we have it for right now. So whenever I receive a submission or scout somebody in person, they go into this first list. If I like their materials, then I move them over to an interview, and obviously I offer them an interview. After I speak with them, if I want to offer them representation, again, they'll move over to the next category, which is the offer. If they accept and sign the offer, then we move into onboarding. There's a lot of pieces that go into onboarding, whether it's headshots, reels, your resume needing to be our format. If you're a minor, obviously you need your work permit and your Coogan account. So anyways, once they're fully onboarded, then we set up the signing meeting, and then they're signed and I start submitting them for stuff, and then they get moved over to the castings. So anyways, that is pretty much all that I have there. Obviously, I'm not going to show you guys my revenue, but I also did put a revenue tab here just so that I can track not necessarily all of the money that comes into the agency, but just the revenue. So I want to know how much I'm making on all of these projects. Especially as of recently, we've been doing a lot of commercials, which means I'm getting 20% instead of my regular 10% from the client. So I just kind of want to be aware of like how much money am I as an agent bringing in. This is also a page that I stole from that other creator. Okay, this is actually turning out to be one of my favorite lists. So we have a to-do list. This one, all of the interns and my personal assistant have access to. So I have it broken down into 5 main categories. These are just the 5 most common that we do, but I do have no category down here where I can add like random stuff that we have. Client reminders is a big one. That one's pretty self-explanatory, but you know, an audition comes in, or if I'm waiting on materials, or like we have the World Choreography Awards coming up, so I'm constantly trying to remind them like, hey, we have this submission coming up, make sure you're getting me your stuff. So anyways, that's client reminders. Then we have invoices. Obviously that's self-explanatory too. I'll have all the project details and they just need to go in and throw it into an invoice so that I can email it off. And we have the onboarding process. I kind of just talked about that, but making sure that we're sending out the casting networks link and make sure they have their onboarding packet, anything else they may need. And next we have outreach. I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna use this yet, just because I do like outreach to be somewhat personable. At this exact moment, we do have a lot of warm outreach that I'm wanting to do, just because if we already have the relationships, might as well use them. But I mean, even for cold outreach, I wanna make sure that, you know, the people we're submitting to these projects are actually people that I can count on and that we're being truthful in what we're saying. I know that sounds kind of cryptic, but I just want to make sure what we're pitching is what we actually do. And then the last one is social media. That one's super easy. Just whenever we get a booking and it goes live, making sure that we're posting about it on Instagram. Okay, last but not least, I am really proud of these pages. So these are pitch packages. Obviously, I'm not going to show you like the budget or our people or anything like that, but I have an artist pitch. Obviously, the only big difference between the artist pitch and the brand pitch is gonna be the budget. But anyways, I plan to pitch this to artists. This is gonna be for music videos and live shows. And then this other one is for brands, and that's gonna be for campaigns and commercials. I have one more pitch that I worked on today, but I'm gonna keep that a secret for now. I promise we will talk about it soon. So now that Notion is all set up and all my pitch decks are ready to go, I have a couple of emails that have to go out. I'm not gonna send them today, but I'm gonna prep all of them and schedule all of them today. If you guys watched some of my last videos, I'm trying something new. I try to send all of my emails on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. We're just gonna try it for a couple weeks and see if it works. Okay, so stop number 1, the Snoop Dogg biopic. I actually know the casting director who is attached to this. We've worked together in a couple of different capacities. So I plan to reach out and just see if you guys are looking for anybody. Let us know. We're happy to submit. I can do a pitch package based on whatever you're looking for. Whatever you need, let me know. I do know right now they're casting African American males. So I have 4 guys that I will be submitting on that. But obviously I want everybody on my roster to work on this project. So we're gonna do a general pitch as well. And this email is actually going out today, only because the 4 males that I'm submitting, that one is time sensitive and he needs that submission by today. And then I'm just gonna throw everybody else in there as well. We can do a follow-up Wednesday. No, I don't like doing a follow-up just 2 days later. Maybe next Wednesday, we can do a follow-up at 11:11. Okay, my next email. So I just did a video on Nike. That team was absolutely amazing to work with. So I'm going to send them an email as well. We can probably send that out today because the spot, I said this last time, I think the spot came out last Monday, but I didn't see it until Friday. So for me, this is like a brand new spot that just came out Friday. So I'm reaching out today, which is Monday. Anyways, holy yap session. This one's not gonna be so much a pitch. I mean, yes, I'm gonna include a link to our roster for sure, but I'm not gonna pitch like an actual production or anything like that to them, like no actual idea. Just like if you need people in the future, we're here kind of thing. So I just wanna let them know that like I appreciate them and it was great working with them, all the good stuff. Okay, these next 2, these are the ones that I am going to wait until Wednesday to actually send. So we actually worked with this production company on an Adidas campaign and a music video. So we have a bit of a history there. And actually on both of these projects, my clients were principal roles. So I feel like at this point we do have a pretty good relationship with them. I feel like they know that they can trust Breezy and our people. And likewise, I know that I love working with them. So with that in mind, I'm actually gonna reach out to them. Just, again, this is gonna be warm outreach. So this isn't reaching out to somebody I've never talked to before. This is specifically gonna be like, hey, remember when we worked on that Adidas campaign? Remember when we did that music video together? Let's do that again. Now I have choreographers and creative directors and dancers and specialty artists that you can pick from. Like I said, we're not gonna send this email right now. I'm just drafting it and then I will schedule send, and we are scheduling the send for Wednesday at 11 a.m. Okay, and then this second one is actually going out to an ad agency. We worked together on the Uber World Cup commercial. I also did a video about that, and again, they were wonderful, spectacular, amazing. So we're basically gonna say the same thing. You know, we worked together on this project, you guys were wonderful. You know what, and on this project, I talked to a couple of different people from the ad agency, but I specifically spoke with a talent manager from the ad agency. So I feel like she's literally the perfect person, and she was so nice. She's actually the one that handled payment as well. Oh, hey Nacho. I have the rescue dogs out right now. In case you didn't know, I run a rescue too. So anyways, I know that they work with Uber a lot, but they're an ad agency, so they also work with a lot of other brands. So I don't want to pitch a specific idea, but I do want to keep that warm relationship going. You know, hey, we worked together on Uber. It was a great experience. Thank you. It came out amazing. Congratulations to you guys. And if you ever need any choreographers, creative directors, dancers, specialty artists, anybody at all, we're here for you. So anyways, we are going to do the same thing here. Schedule this to send Wednesday at 11 a.m. All right, and last but not least, we're not gonna get this finished today, but I do wanna do a content day for my choreographers and creative directors. We recently did a content day for my dancers, and while yes, it was very successful and I'm very happy with it, I feel like my dancers are like regularly booking at this point, so it's not really them who need updated materials at this very moment. Now, who I would like more bookings from would be my choreographers. Once again, when my choreographers are booking, my dancers are booking. So with that in mind, we're gonna put together a content day for them. However, we have to think out logistics. We have to look into figures and how much this is gonna cost, but I'm thinking if we rent out a studio for one day, everybody can do their rehearsals, and then we rent out like a photo studio or whatever we decide on. So then we need to rent a videographer and just make it like a 2-day ordeal. I want it to be as close as physically possible to like an actual job. And a lot of the jobs, especially commercials that we're seeing right now, are one rehearsal, one shoot date. So I feel like I don't want to spoil them by giving them multiple opportunities to craft something. They would be in charge of the casting process. The other part of this is for them to put in like a lot of thought into this. Be so specific of what brand do you want to pitch, or like what genre of brands do you want to pitch. Like if it's athletic wear, let's have that vision in mind. Or if we're going the artist route, like what genres of music, do you have a particular artist in mind? And I'm just thinking this not only would help them have something like very specific and tangible, but it would also help me so that once it's finished, like where can I pitch it to for you? I feel like a lot of my clients have done concept videos in the past, and that's great because you get that experience. It's what is really needed to be able to eventually become a professional choreographer or a creative director or whatever path you want to go down. But I think a lot of times they're doing it just because it's a personal passion, which once again is great. However, as an agent, it's not something that I can really pitch. If you don't have, you know, if you're just dancing to a song because you like it, that's not something I can pitch to a brand. So if they want to pitch brands moving forward, be so specific. Are we talking about footwear? Are we talking about clothing? Are we talking about a drink? I need to know how you're going to showcase that product so that I can then pitch you so that you can showcase that product on a larger commercial scale. But then same thing for artists. You know, a lot of them choreograph, let's say, heels, but then they want me to pitch like Alex Warren. You know, whatever genre we have in mind, it has to make sense through and through. So yeah, I think this isn't like with dance. I was able to plan it a little bit last minute because you know, your dancers come in, you can improv, you can do a different dance, like whatever you want to do, it should be pretty simple. But for choreography, they're going to need to get their team together, they're going to need to solidify their concept. Obviously, they need to choreograph it before they can teach the dancers. I would like for them to put together a shot list. Like I said, I really want this to be their own mini production. That way they can put it on their resume. You know, I've cast for this, I've done shot lists, I've run rehearsals, I've run the actual directing of a shoot day. So anyways, that is my thought process there. Like I said, we're not gonna get everything solidified today, but I'm glad that I like talked this out, because I think when I'm editing this video, and I noticed this in the past, sometimes I forget what I say. I'm sure most people do, but like I do a yap session and then I'm rewatching it and I'm like, oh, that was a really good idea and I forgot that I even said that. Hopefully I didn't just make myself sound crazy. But anyways, I mean now it's like almost 1 o'clock, but when I started this video, it was noon. So I got a lot done before noon. So I really want these videos and live streams and whatever else I do, I really want them to be like accountability of some sort. I think I'm pretty good about, like today, you know, I sat down, I'm like, okay, I have this list of things that I want to get done, and I got every single thing done before noon on top of my regular tasks. So I do feel like I'm really good about like making things happen. But on the other end of that, sometimes when life gets busy or when the agency gets busy, things can kind of take a back seat. So I think this will be good for accountability in the sense that over the next 50 days, I really do want to focus almost all of my attention on outreach, so that when it comes to Q4 and all of these perfect commercial opportunities, I really want us to be strong contenders in the running. So I hope you follow along. I think you should use this time. We can co-work together while I'm telling you about all the randomness that I'm doing and the outreach that I'm doing that has zero effect on you. Maybe you can co-work with me and get some of your own stuff and emails and outreach going too. Happy start to the 50 days to Q4. We need a better name than that. That's a mouthful. We'll think on it. And I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.